Week 9 of the fantasy football season. Here's the top 12 tight ends. I'm ranking this week. The first guy, Travis KELCE of the Kansas City Chiefs. So this week here, a great matchup versus the Tennessee Titans here for Travis KELCE. And there's not much to really say. We know he's one of the best tight ends in the league, if not the best tight end. Him and Mark Andrews is obviously the argument that you have for another day. But anyway, KELCE here, coming off a bye week, should be 100% if he had any nagging injuries or whatever the case may be. And he's still Patrick Mahomes' #1 target. So right now, KELCE having another monster season. And once again, this week here, I rank him #1, #2, Mark Andrews of the Baltimore Ravens. So the last few weeks here, Andrews, he's been banged up with a few elements. Knee injury, I believe a shoulder in there as well. And this week here, it might be a wait-and-see type of game to know when he's going to play for sure on Monday Night Football. So right here, if you're the Andrews owner and you want to wait it out to Monday night, and Isaiah Likely's still out there on your waiver wire, that's the move to make. But if Andrews plays, you still got to fire him up as nothing's going on with him. And I know the last few weeks have been a struggle because of the injuries. But this week here, if he does play, I still got him at #2. #3, Dallas Goedert of the Philadelphia Eagles. So Goedert having a good season for a great Philadelphia Eagle team that's 7-0 on the year. And this week here, another great matchup tonight on Thursday Night Football versus a week, obviously, Houston Texan defense here with Dallas Goedert. I think Goedert, once again, another good ball game. He'll get his 12-15 fantasy points, which he usually gets in PPR leagues. And this Philadelphia Eagle offense is a well-oiled machine, obviously. So right now, Dallas Goedert, each and every week, he's a top 3, top 5 tight end. And this week, I got him at 3 with a good matchup at a weak Texan defense. #4, Zach Ertz of the Arizona Cardinals. So Zach Ertz having a great season here for this Cardinal team. And things might have just opened up even more now with DeAndre Hopkins back in the mix. So Zach Ertz this season, the first 7 out of 8 ball games, he's had double-digit fantasy points. And right here, this Seattle team, they're just not that good on defense. Where the middle of the field's open a lot. Obviously, Jamal Adams, he was out for the year early with the torn quads in week 1 and week 2. So right here, I think Zach Ertz has a good ball game here. And I got him at #4, and he's another guy just like Goddard, anywhere from 3 to 5. You're going to rank him each and every week. #5, GERALD of the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers, it looks like they're going to be down their top 2 wide receivers in Mike Williams. And obviously Keenan Allen, who said his hamstring injury got worse during the bye week. So whatever it is, Allen it is. But right now, GERALD, a great matchup at the Atlanta Falcons. I give up the 4th most fantasy points to tight ends on the season. And now the workload and targets are going to be there for GERALD. I know he's got other receivers in Joshua Palmer and Carter over there, but right here, I think Everett's still a better type of receiver than those type of guys. So right now, with all the volume possibly coming Everett's way this week here at the Atlanta Falcons, I like him a lot, and I got him in #5 because we easily could see Everett score anywhere from 10 to 15 fantasy points, and that's a great number nowadays for a tight end in PPR leagues. #6, Evan Engram of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Evan Engram over the last 3-4 weeks here, he's really come on as one of the top targets, if not the top target over Christian Kirk in that time for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So right here, they got a pretty decent matchup versus the Las Vegas Raiders. And Evan Engram, he's coming off a few double-digit fantasy games, including last week where he had a nice one. 4 catches, 55 yards, and he found pay dirt. So this week here, with a good matchup for the Jaguars versus the Vegas Raiders. I got him in #6. And if you were lucky enough to get him on the waiver wire, that's definitely been a big ad this year. #7, Tyler HIGBEE of the Los Angeles Rams. So HIGBEE, we know he got banged up in that ball game last week after the Rams lost that one, San Francisco 49ers. But HIGBEE, he looks like he's ready to go. This is a big matchup with 2 struggling teams, believe it or not, going at it. You wouldn't think that coming into the year with the Rams and Tampa Bay Bucks, that both teams are struggling. Both teams trying to fight their way to make the playoffs this season. And Tyler HIGBEE, he's been the #2 option in the passing game, obviously, for Stafford. Right now, Cooper Kupp, he didn't practice on Wednesday here, so we'll see if he's going to practice today. On Thursday is Cooper Kupp. But right now, if Kupp don't play for some reason in this game, if that ankle just hasn't healed, HIGBEE could be in line for way more targets. Because right now, as it is, he's the #2 target guy in that offense. But anyway, I got him at 7. #8, TJ Hockenson of the Minnesota Vikings. So Hockenson now going from an inconsistent offense to one of the most consistent and high-powered offenses in all pro football. So right now, to be in an offense with Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson and a Dalvin Cook in the backfield and Kirk Cousins getting you the football. That's a big upgrade, no doubt about it, here for Hockenson. But the only thing with him this week, obviously, is if he's going to pick up the playbook in time, if he's going to play a majority of the snaps, where he's going to play like 40-50% of the snaps this week. So that's why I have him limited at number 8 this week. If he was going to be full throttle 100% and been there a few weeks in Minnesota, I probably would have had Hockenson 6 or 7 range this week. But right here with a decent matchup still at the Washington Commanders, and a guy who hopefully picks up the playbook sooner than later, I'll have him 8 this week, number 9, Kyle Pitts of the Atlanta Falcons. I was pretty much almost about to give up on Kyle Pitts here with this Atlanta Falcon team, and obviously it hasn't been all his fault. This team just don't throw the football a lot. Marcus Mariota, he likes running the ball, a lot of replay options, whatever the case may be. But Pitts finally last week broke out with a nice fantasy day, so obviously he cracks the top 9 this week. Here's Kyle Pitts. Last week, it was the big game of the season for Pitts. 5 catches, 80 yards, and a touchdown. And right here, in a mediocre matchup versus a middle-of-the-pack defense in the Chargers versus tight ends on the season, we see if Kyle Pitts could go out there and have another good ball game. I'm definitely not counting on it, but I think he still could finish in the top 9 this week here, because tight end, like I said, has been one of the weaker positions, no doubt about it, than it has in the past few seasons. Number 10, Hayden Hurst of the Cincinnati Bengals. So Hayden Hurst in his first season here with Cincinnati has carved out a decent role, and now with Jamar Chase obviously out in another 3 to 5 weeks here with his hip injury, more targets got to go around. And we've seen Hayden Hurst the last 2 bowl games be pretty solid for PPR fantasy football leagues. Week 7 versus Atlanta, 6 catches, 48 yards. And Week 8 at Cleveland, 4 catches, 42 yards. I know those numbers don't pop off the charts here if he was a flex or something, but at the tight end position, anywhere from 8 to 10 fantasy points plus is a nice fantasy day at this point for fantasy owners. So right now, with a good matchup versus the Carolina Panthers that really don't stop anyone on defense, and with more targets possibly coming his way with Jamar Chase still out, I like Hurst as a solid number 10 this week. Number 11, Mike Gesicki of the Miami Dolphins. So Gesicki, it's been an up and down season here for him, but the games where he does have a good one, it's where he finds the end zone. So right now, obviously, a lot of defenses, they're going to be putting their effort towards Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, the coverage. With Mike Gesicki open in the middle of the field, and especially he's a big red zone target. Last season, him and Tua had a good rapport, but then Gesicki, he was almost traded out of town. He didn't play a lot of snaps early in the season, but the last few weeks here, he's starting to put up fantasy numbers. The last 2 out of 3 weeks, Week 6 versus Minnesota, had a monster ball game, 24.90 fantasy points with 6 catches, 69 yards, 2 touchdowns. Then Week 7 versus Pittsburgh, 3 catches, 27 yards. And then last week at Detroit, 3 catches, 38 yards, and a touchdown. So this week here, a mediocre matchup at the Chicago Bears. But right now, I think Gesicki in this one could have a decent ball game, and I got him in number 11 in the 12th and final tight end I'm ranking this week. Here's Robert Tonyan of the Green Bay Packers. So Robert Tonyan, it's been an up and down season here for him. He's a guy I mentioned to drop, and I just feel like Aaron Rodgers trusts nobody but Alan Lazard in this offense over there, and Aaron Jones obviously in Green Bay. Everyone else, it's been inconsistent numbers this season. The targets really haven't been there. And Tonyan over the last 2 weeks here, it's just been garbage time fourth quarter fantasy points he's been putting up. Early in ball games, you could go a half where he's only getting 1 or 2 targets is Robert Tonyan. So right now, this week here, because matchup base versus the Detroit Lion team on the fast track, where they don't stop anyone over there, is Detroit. So they give up the 6th most fantasy points to tight ends, and Tonyan cracks the top 12 this week. So that's the top 12 tight ends I'm ranking here for Week 9 of the fantasy football season.